Darkseid is the main antagonist of Jack Kirby's New Gods, a story that focuses on Orion, the god of war, battling against his father, Darkseid, the god of fascism. Orion's character is very clearly meant to specifically be a god of war that is meant to represent World War II. Not just any war, but specifically that one. New Gods as an entire story is very clearly based on Jack Kirby's experience and thoughts on World War II. Orion's character is very much America. It's this soldier charging head-on into an extremely dangerous war and is terrified of becoming like its enemy. Darkseid is influenced by the Nazis. Apocalypse even has camps in it, with them keeping hold of multiple prisoners and trying to torture them into working with Darkseid, or just killing them. And this isn't even just shown through characters like Orion and Darkseid, though they are definitely some of the more prominent ones. Even characters like the Forever People, being younger gods and being referred to as hippies, very much feel like they are meant to represent young people at the time. Forever People stories also heavily deal with them needing to fight people hiding on Earth who are working for Darkseid, people who use their power and riches to control people. It can very much be said that this is slightly maybe talking about the idea of people who support the Nazis or overall bigoted ideals hiding in the world and slowly using their influence and power to hurt others and gain control of people. Mr. Miracle, even though I do not fully view Scott as a god like the rest of the New Gods characters, it's very much harder to determine what he is meant to represent. Still very much is a story about fascism, trying to constantly escape it, trying to survive as it slowly tries to tear down your life, friends and art. Trying to escape and be free in a world controlled by a fascist god who's having a war with the entirety of the world. And the thing is with Mr. Miracle, it does this without Darkseid even appearing much. A funny thing I've seen slightly recently is that many people have associated Mr. Miracle with Darkseid, seeing Darkseid as Scott's big bad, but he's never really treated like that in Scott's original run. He is more of a presence, a name that is mentioned by the people who follow and worship him. He's not someone Scott ever has a real tangible connection with in the original run. Instead, Granny Goodness is very much Scott's big bad. Granny Goodness is someone who follows Darkseid and is overall a cruel, hateful person who sees himself above basically everyone, though she wouldn't say that to Darkseid. Her character is overall just evil, with her running many of the camps on Apocalypse and causing Scott's life to be a living hell. Overall, Orion and Darkseid are much more nemesis than Mr. Miracle and Darkseid. Orion and his father have much more of a rivalry than Scott does. There's also the character of Light Ray, a god who's bright and hopeful, intelligent, that I think is also possibly representing a god of some sort of future, or some sort of hope to look forward towards. And in the New Gods comics, he is constantly hunted down by the literal god of death as this war rages on. Orion is constantly trying to protect Light Ray, making sure he goes nowhere near the battlefield, terrified for that hopeful person, that hope for a better future goes away. Darkseid in New Gods is just a pure presence, something embodying all of mankind's hate and horridness, and every time he appears it is normally to tease something bigger going to happen, or cause he has something planned. All this to say, it does make me slightly look at moments of Darkseid interacting with other DC characters, and something feels missing. At times it feels like the character's purpose and presence disappears. His point in existence becomes just being a big bad for others to fight. And this isn't me trying to say that New Gods is too dark and serious to work in the DC universe, cause that's not true. New Gods as a comic, even though it goes into some extremely serious subject matter, is still very comic booky, and at times can come off silly and over the top. It doesn't take you out the story. Superman even is a slightly big part of New Gods comics due to Jimmy Olsen's run being slightly tied into New Gods. But I still can't help but feel like Darkseid's became more like a blank space than an actual meaningful character. Now, this did get me questioning, cause I do think there is a slight problem with New Gods, and that is the fact that they're no longer that. They aren't new. They aren't a reflection of our overall current world and the issues in it. Orion, the god of war, does not fit the way war is seen today or how it's handled, and I really don't think trying to push and shove these characters to fit that narrative will work. It will just end up messing them up, aka at least what I feel like Tom King was trying to do for Orion's character. Or he just really hates Orion for some reason. So, what would be the New Gods of today? I have no idea. There's probably some ideas I could think of, but I do not think I am creative enough to even match Jack Kirby's level of creativity. I think you can definitely keep certain characters, cause some still very much fit modern today. Darkseid very much should stay, considering he is the god of fascism. Now, obviously, fascism is not as prevalent as it was during World War II, but still very clearly is something that's happening in modern day. Something that lingers and doesn't truly go away, because there is still some really dumb people who will cling on to it. Orion is much more complicated because, like I said, I don't think you can push a character like Orion to fit modern day wars. His character just doesn't work in that way. I feel like all it does when you do try to do it is damage his character and story of nature versus nurture. Now, there is always the possibility of doing a new God of War, more fitting for today's world and how war is handled, and how it's looked at overall. I think that would at least be much more interesting than trying to shove Orion into a non-Orion shaped hole. Now, I will say there is obviously sequels and continuations of Jack Kirby's original New Gods, and I do think there is some very good ones out there. I really enjoyed the new Ram V's New Gods run. I think it did a really good job at bringing back the fact that these characters are godlike beings. Also, Orion is going to be getting a story soon by Ngozi Akazu. I could be pronouncing that wrong, I hope I'm not, but that looks interesting, and from stuff I've looked into it, the person writing it seemingly is a big fan of Orion. So I have hopes that that story will be a good story. Just don't read Tom King's Mr. Miracle if you're wanting a real continuation of New Gods. If you've not read Jack Kirby's original Mr. Miracle or New Gods even, but were thinking of reading Mr. Miracle by Tom King, I would heavily suggest checking out Jack Kirby's original work, because it is good and it does kinda show the problems with Tom King's writing in that book. Overall, this entire video was more of just an excuse to praise and talk about New Gods. I'm unsure about always doing these types of videos because I don't know how much people will care about them or listen, but also some stuff I've said is definitely more up to interpretation, though overall Jack Kirby's experience and overall feelings during World War II definitely inspired the comic. I just mean more things like what I said about Light Ray could be not seen that way. Orion could easily just be seen as the god of anger instead of the god of war. Overall, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, feel free to like it, of course, or check out other stuff on my channel. But yeah, thank you for watching, that's all, and goodbye.